Welcome back to Dirty 30, the show where Lauren and I talk about just the facts and do so in only 30 minutes. So join us tonight as we head back to the top of that famous monument and try to determine the Mt Rushmore of those lovable, creepy cryptids. This week on the Dirty 30.
The Brew Interviews, Coast to Coast, brews, faves, and more with Lauren and Robbie.
So how you been, Lauren?
Well, Robbie, Danny didn't break up with me after our last episode, so things are going fucking great.
Well, you didn't fail. You made it by one question.
I made it by one question, but we were texting back and forth about it the entire night afterwards, and she was like, I panicked. I didn't even know the fucking answers to half those questions. And we both agree that neither of us have any idea what the first movie that we saw together was. Yeah. Like, we were brainstorming about it. We're both just like, I have no idea. We don't have any idea. No idea. So that's that. Other than that, the entire country just got slammed with like fucking ice, and this is New England, and I saw like 3 snowflakes today. So that's weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually was going to bring it up. Yeah. Texas got sub-freezing temperatures, which is like in the high 20s for them.
Yeah.
It's not even that bad. Their problem is that their whole power is based off of like their own electrical grid.
And that's totally
and, like, gas
frozen.
Grid. And it's totally fucked up. And they're the only country within the continental United States that has their own power grid.
The only state within?
Because the continental United States.
Yeah, you said the only country.
Whatever. Same difference. They think they're a country. But so they control all of their power and their gas and their heating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is why the rest of the country was perfectly fine during winter storms. And they have a foot of snow. I don't think they even got a foot of snow. Like, it's like not a lot. And the whole state fucking shuts down.
Yeah, well, they're not prepared for it. Like, and it's not even like, yeah, like, people still don't have power. Like, like I have friends there that all of their water pipes burst. They don't have any running water right now. Like, they're using melted snow to like flush their toilet. Like, they still don't have power. It's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's because the Texas grid is their own thing, and apparently I read a bunch of articles on it this morning. They don't like to update their stuff.
No, well, of course they don't.
And they're blaming it. They're blaming it on their renewable energy, like their wind stuff. And it's like, wait, we have wind turbines up here in New England, and we get way worse winters and everything like that.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with what type of energy it has. It has to do with the maintenance of the infrastructure that you have.
100%.
Like,
they want to be cheap and not update stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So fuck you, Texas.
Fuck the big business empires of energy in Texas. Not the people. We like them.
Yeah, some of the people. I don't really like Jordan, but that's okay.
Well, Jordan's okay, but the Golden Ghouls, we like them.
That's right. There's still a couple down there.
Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah, 2 out of 3. Ain't bad.
2 out of 3 of the ghouls. So moving on to the main topic of the night.
Cryptids.
We've done these Mt Rushmores before. What we do is we pick the most 4 iconic whatever the subject is of that night. And tonight it happens to be cryptids. We did fave 5 cryptids? Or did we just do cryptids?
I don't think it was a fave 5. I think it was just cryptids in general. And we kind of like had our favorites in there that we did.
Yeah, and we went into way more depth of their origin and all those kind of things, which we can briefly hit on here. But this is going to be more of debating, even if there isn't a debate, of who should be that top 4 of the cryptid world.
Mainly because we chose this topic today and I had to work, so I didn't have time to do research.
Work. So starting off, Lauren, you want to go first?
Well, Robbie, maybe we should talk about what we're drinking tonight and then do a shot, and then we'll get into the cryptids.
I forgot about that.
That's okay.
I am actually drinking liquor today. I'm drinking one of my favorites, Tito's. Straight.
What?
Just Tito's straight. Well,
I'm also drinking a straight liquor today, Robbie.
Ooh.
I know, right? And to go along with our topic, I am drinking Kraken, the black spiced rum.
You're drinking straight Kraken?
I'm drinking straight. I love Kraken, Robbie.
Really? I haven't had it since college.
I'm a big fan of dark rum.
Yeah.
And fun fact about this little nip of Kraken that I have, I won it because I won a costume contest. And that's why I have it.
You didn't win a whole bottle?
No, it was just a nip.
That's depressing.
Well, I think there was some other stuff. It wasn't just like, here's a nip for winning. Like,
here's a nip.
There were other things, but I love Kraken. Big fan. 47% ABV. Delicious.
If you like dark rum, you would like Gosling's.
I do like Gosling's.
I love Gosling. That was like my rum and coke rum for a long time.
I like Myers dark rum. I think that's my...
Aren't they a little pricey though?
Yeah, but they're worth it. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I think they're my
but
favorite.
Tito's
I
is
think they're my
$20
favorite.
and it's amazing.
Yeah, well, I don't buy Myers for myself. I go to my mom's house and drink hers.
And just steal it.
Yeah. Nothing has
Still
changed.
stealing liquor from your parents.
Of course. I'm fucking almost 30 years old. I'm still drinking my parents' liquor.
I think I've talked about it before, but I love Tito's. It's so easy to drink. I don't drink vodka straight, but Tito's is the only one that I enjoy doing that with.
I don't drink vodka, period, because I think it's gross.
It's delicious. It's amazing.
Wow.
Not Tito's. Add a couple drops of like lime juice. Got a vodka gimlet.
I'm just
Couple
not
ice
a
cubes?
I'm not a vodka person. I think maybe because like my first drinking experience in college, my roommate who was like 21 at the time bought us. I was just like, I have $10. Like, get me the
Pop off?
cheapest fucking liquor you can find. And she bought me like Olaf vodka or something like that. And
Olaf?
it was literally like a jug of rubbing
Yeah.
alcohol. It was fucking rough. And I got fucking trashed.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there with the plastic jugs of
Yeah,
alcohol.
it was a big clear plastic jug.
Clear, yeah. So we have to do shots. We did a couple last week because we went over on time for the last Dirty 30, but we had to split up the shots, otherwise we would die.
Amen.
So for my shot, I am doing a new tequila that I've never had.
Ooh, love me some
It's
tequila.
called Olmeca Altos.
Show me the bottle.
Ugh.
I think I've seen that in the liquor store before. Oh,
Yeah, but we've seen it
I
a lot.
actually have a nip of that in
Do
my
you?
cabinet. Yeah.
It's pretty decent. I took a swig earlier, so
Oh,
it's going to be a not bad shot.
I almost grabbed tequila to do a shot with, but I was like, I don't really want to do shots of tequila with dark rum. So I got butter shots from De Kuyper to do shots with because,
Yum.
well, I figured like the nice, like sweet, creamy taste of butterscotch is going to go really well with the dark, delicious
Dark crack.
Kraken. Yeah. So
The black crack.
I may even end up pouring some into my drink because like Kraken is delicious and sweet and dark, but it still has that alcohol bite. So to dampen that down, I think I'll do. Anyways, let's just do the shots.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Here you go.
Apples.
Yeah, apples.
Mmm.
It's good.
De Kuyper is the cheap, sugary syrup shots, and it's just so fucking delicious.
Kuiper and McGillicuddy's. It's just
Oh, don't even get me started on McGillicuddy's. I love that shit. Great McGillicuddy's
We can talk
all
about that.
day long.
Oh my god, you're an alcoholic. So, Lauren, would you like to go first on our cryptids list?
Well, Robbie, since you've given me the option, I'll take it.
I thought you were going to say no.
No. All right. So the first cryptid that I have on my Mount Rushmore list is the Loch Ness Monster. Nessie.
Woo!
Scottish, got to represent.
You're American. Calm down.
Yeah, but the Scottishness is in my blood. I'm that
You don't
royal
like Scotch.
Scottish family.
You don't eat haggis.
I've
you
never
don't wear
had haggis.
kilts.
I'd love to try haggis.
Yeah.
I really want to learn how to play the bagpipes.
That nobody wants that.
My spirit instrument.
Wait till you get a house in the middle of the woods for that shit.
Well, Robbie, maybe I will.
That's how you get evicted real quick.
I know, right?
But yeah, Loch Ness Monster has to be at the top. It is one of the most talked about cryptids, probably of all time.
Oh, for sure.
Started becoming famous, kind of world-renowned famous around 1933.
Yeah, that's when like the like swarm of sightings kind of started.
Yeah. Obviously, all the sightings are from Lake Loch Ness in the Highlands of Scotland.
Well, it's not Lake Loch Ness. It is Loch
What is it?
Ness. Loch is the
Loch. Oh, yeah. Loch.
word
Yeah,
for
yeah.
lake.
Lake Loch, whatever. you know what I
From
mean.
Loch Ness.
Loch Ness. The Loch Ness Monster. I mean, God, how many sightings? Thousands upon thousands, most of them hoaxes with no proof at all.
Yes, I love like the mystery behind this cryptid. Like I've watched so many documentaries on like people trying to find Nessie
Yes.
or like trying to like disprove these. Like the most iconic or like famous photograph of Nessie is known as the surgeon's photograph, and it's kind of like that dark shadow of like a dinosaur head kind of coming out of the water, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like they went like I've seen the documentaries on them like disproving like that's such a hoax and like how
I
they
hated
set it
that
up.
photo as a kid because it was obvious that like the proportions were so wrong compared to the water
Oh,
to
yeah.
the outline of the silhouette, or you want to say. Yeah, that one was really stupid. But yeah, nobody's ever had real proof. Yeah, those documentaries are hilarious. It's just a bunch of dudes. It's always dudes.
Always dudes.
Going out in a boat on Loch Ness going, I don't see him.
Yeah.
That's the end. That's the end of the show.
Yeah.
They're not going to find him.
And there's
if they found Loch Ness, they'd be all over the fucking news. So obviously they didn't find him.
Right? And they've done like all these like sonar research projects. Like they don't see fucking anything. Shit. They don't see anything. But the people are still making sightings. Like even I think you said it right there, making sightings. Yeah. There are still sightings happening. Like I think even like last August or like June or something, somebody had video or like pictures of a Nessie sighting. They were on the news for it. It's crazy.
Yeah. And one of the problems with Loch Ness is that it's so deep. It's a very deep lake.
Deep and rocky. Correctly. Yes.
Deep and rocky. So that always made it difficult for the possibility to find him. Her. Nessie's a her, right?
I think that's the conclusion is Nessie is a her. It's like a car, you know.
And if she is real, it's most likely to be a plesiosaur, which is an ancient creature that lived in the water, long neck.
That's the description of what people see when they see it.
That is Nessie is a plesiosaur when you look at pictures and stuff like that. So But yeah, Loch Ness was also on my list for Mount Rushmore. So that crosses that one off.
Do you want to know a fun fact about that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
In 2015, a triathlon was organized with the swimming portion to start in Loch Ness, and
fuck that.
Yeah, right. Well, the participating athletes were each insured for £1 million against a bite from Nessie.
That is odd. That lake is like dark and
gross,
deep, and you can't see shit. So it's like swimming across it. No, thank you. I know Loch Ness is not real, but still, come on.
That's like one of my biggest fears is being in water that I can't see the bottom under me. Like I panic.
Although being killed by Loch Ness Monster would be pretty epic. Like the first person to die from Loch Ness.
I agree. But you'd have to have witnesses. Otherwise people would think you just drown.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of people in a triathlon.
That's true.
A decathlon, what'd you say?
A triathlon.
I forget what you say most times. Moving on to the next one.
Moving on.
And probably the biggest one, I think bigger than Nessie. And that is the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, the Yeti, the whatever you want to call it, because it literally has a million names. Bigfoot is most famous in North America. Stories differ between the name and what it looks like among basically all the tribes.
Yeah.
Like the Native American tribes in the U.S. and Canada. But obviously it all states that it's a giant humanoid being from 6 to 9 feet tall with giant feet.
So Bigfoot was the next one on my list also. I just kind of covered Sasquatch, which is the North American version, or like one of the North American versions, like the Pacific Northwest. And then like the Yeti, which is the Himalayan kind of area.
Yeah, Asia.
Yeah, Nepal, Tibet, Russia, India.
All civilizations seem to have some sort of folklore around a Bigfoot Sasquatch creature, which is very interesting. Because why would that be such a unanimous thing among all these cultures before there was ever, internet and real travel?
Yeah, true. That's true.
So that's always been one of my most interested things about him. So a third of all sightings take place in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, which is huge. I mean, out of the entire world, a third of them are in fucking Oregon and Washington.
There has been a Bigfoot sighting in every single state of the U.S.
I believe it.
Every single state. But Washington had the highest number of sightings.
Because they got nothing else to do up there. Except stare at trees and look for giant monkeys.
There's a lot of fucking woods up there, you know?
Yeah. I would love to go to Washington.
You want to go Bigfoot hunting with me, Robbie?
I would love to go Bigfoot hunting with you.
Apparently they like apples.
And banging on trees.
Banging 3 knocks.
There was a YouTube channel that did Bigfoot, I don't want to say research because they were a bunch of fucking hillbillies, but no, but they did a bunch of like Bigfoot searches, and it is the most funny, dramatized like searchings for Bigfoot, and it's all serious. They're 100% serious, but they come off as just these fake crazy people. And I need to find the channel again because it is so absurd, and you need to watch it.
I actually feel like you have shown me these videos before.
I've definitely brought it up before, but I always fucking forget what it's called, and I can't find it.
That's funny. I love Bigfoot. Yeah. Bigfoot, I think that you had mentioned that like Bigfoot was one of your favorite cryptids.
Bigfoot is my favorite cryptid. I remember watching old episodes of Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack as a kid, and that was like my first introduction to Bigfoot. Yeah. And they do it so well in the show back in the day. that it was just great. Same with Loch Ness Monster, I think was probably also unsolved mysteries.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Bigfoot's real? Do you think that it exists?
I want him to be real so hard. So hard. But obviously, they would have found some sort of remains or something at this point, so it's obvious that it's not real.
I've read that Bigfoot buries its dead.
They bury their dead?
They bury their dead.
Yeah?
Yeah. I read that on the internet, Robbie, so it's true.
Whoa.
I know.
Because Bigfoot people aren't crazy at all.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, that's good. That's good. They bury their dead. They're very civilized.
Super civilized. I mean, they're essentially humanoids. They're big, hairy ape humanoids.
Big, hairy apes.
Yeah.
All right. So we both agree on Bigfoot. Moving on, Lauren. What is your next one?
Do you want to do a shot before we do our next one?
Sure.
Woo!
The cap of this tequila is looks like this. I don't know if you can see the thing.
Yeah,
it's like a wood stopper. But all the other tequila bottles that have this are a cork. This one is not.
So do you go to like pull it off?
So I'm trying to like rip it off for a second like an idiot.
You're gonna do that and like fucking rip the whole bottle, like the glass off. That would make for a good shank though if you ever got in a fight.
A piece of glass? Yeah, it would.
No, but like if you just rip it off, because then you have the wood
a fight
to
in
hold
prison?
on to. Yeah. Well,
I carry a knife most of the time, so I'd rather use that than a broken tequila bottle.
Well, yeah, but if you didn't have that, you were in a bar.
Prison Shanks brought to you by Omelka Altos tequila.
I've been watching a lot of I'm a Killer on Netflix, so that's where my head's at.
That's where your mind's at.
All right. Anyways, let's do shots, Robbie.
Shot.
All right, apples.
Yeah, apples.
Yum. Buttery goodness.
All right, moving on, Lauren. What do you got?
All right, Robbie. Number 3 on my list, because we already covered Bigfoot, is Mothman.
So this is where we differ. I did not have Mothman on my list, but just barely didn't make it.
All right. I wonder if one of my honorable mentions is switched with.
Because I was stuck between 2 at the end, but we'll hit that.
All right. So Mothman, is described as a bipedal winged humanoid with like a wingspan of 10 to 15 feet, 7 feet tall, ability to fly over 100 miles an hour, described to have huge glowing red eyes, or at least reflective eyes that are red. It's not really like there's mystery behind Mothman, as in like Bigfoot's just like an ape that lives in the woods, and like Nessie is a monster that lives in a lake. But like some people believe that Mothman is an angel or a demon or even the product of a blood curse placed upon the town by Chief Cornstalk, who was murdered along with his son in the area. And this area is Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Like that's kind of the not North Virginia.
I was trying to remember if it was like Indiana, but yeah, West Virginia. Okay, West
Virginia. Yeah, that's like the birthplace of like where all these sightings of Mothman have occurred.
Again, they have nothing to do. It's West Virginia.
They have nothing to do. But like, so like the first sighting was in, I don't know, like 19 something. I don't remember. I didn't write it down. I didn't have time. But like 2 people driving along the side of the road were like, holy shit, there's a fucking winged creature flying alongside our car.
Yeah.
And then there was a sighting of him at the, I think it was the Silver Bridge collapse.
That's the famous one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like I think the most well-known sighting of.
And he shows up at like, doesn't he show up at like areas where natural disasters might happen or like architectural disasters might happen or some shit?
Yeah. So like, it's kind of, that's where like the difference between like what people think about Mothman is. So like Mothman shows up at sites of disaster, right? So he showed up at the Silver Bridge right before it collapsed. People think that he's either the bringer of these like huge disasters, but then there's also a thought that he's kind of a warning sign, like he's like these are going to happen regardless, so he like shows up to try and like warn people that hey, there's a fucking disaster, you know what I mean? Granted, we don't know if Mothman is real. People theorize that it's also a barn owl. The reflective of their eyes are red because they have like more blood vessels around them or whatever, and they have a really big wingspan. Or a sandhill crane, which is their wingspan is I don't know, 7 to 8 feet or something like that, and they have the red around their eyes, like the red coloring around it. I feel like the description of Mothman like doesn't really fit a crane, like unless you like look at it.
No, owl,
like
an
owl body.
Like yeah,
is kind of like more like that. But this town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, has annual Mothman festival, right? That started in 2002. They have a Mothman museum. There's a Mothman statue. Mothman is like referenced in a bunch of popular culture. He was even featured in the Fallout 76 game.
Oh yeah.
I think Mothman is a pretty iconic,
pretty cool.
Cryptid. I think Mothman is really cool.
I do like Mothman, but I think one cryptid beat him just barely.
Oh my god, tell me who.
And for me, that was the Jersey Devil.
I knew that you were going to have the Jersey Devil on your list, so I didn't put it on either of mine.
Okay. Either of yours?
My honorable mentions or the because I already knew that you were gonna have the Jersey Devil. I didn't.
Jersey Devil is awesome. Also known as the Leeds Devil, said to inhabit the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. Described as a flying biped with hooves, a goat head, bat wings, horns, small arms, and a forked tail. It's based off of the legend of the Leeds family. I think we've told this before.
Yeah.
But I'll try to synopsis it real quick. According to Popular. Oh my god.
Popular.
According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that the mother had 12 children, and after finding she was pregnant for the 13th time, she cursed the child in frustration, crying that the child would be a devil. In 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her. Born as a normal child, the 13th child changed to a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, forked tail. Growling and screaming, it beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the Pine Barrens. This family was real, by the way. The Leeds family is like this long line of family in Jersey.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that. I didn't read about that before, but it's a real family.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But there's other things saying that the Leeds mom was a witch. And
I bet
she was
that's
impregnated
true.
by the devil and crazy shit like that. Became really popular in the early 1800s, which is a lot earlier than people realize.
Yeah, I feel all right. So I feel like this story that you tell me is something that would come up in the 1800s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. But yeah, Jersey Devil, it's pretty iconic in my opinion. Maybe a little more than the Mothman at this point. I think Mothman may be a regional folklore kind of cryptid, you know what I mean? Like more people would know about it maybe in the Northeast and the Northwest, and not Northwest.
The South?
The coast. What am I trying to say here? The
West
East Coast.
Virginia area?
All the way on the east, more than like throughout the United States.
I don't know if I agree with that because there are Mothman sightings.
Fuck you.
There are Mothman sightings like all over the place. Okay, so here's where I think it differs. Is I think that yes, the Jersey Devil is definitely iconic and it's a very widely talked about cryptid. But I feel like Mothman carries through more popular culture because it's kind of like Bigfoot in that there are like consistent sightings of Mothman. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there aren't like consistent sightings of the Jersey Devil.
Unless
like
you live
all
in Jersey.
Over the place. Like the Mothman covers everywhere.
Because the Jersey Devil only inhabits the Pine Barrens. Like that's
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. He's confined to this tiny little area. Mothman goes wherever the fuck he wants.
But mostly West Virginia.
North Virginia.
So I'm gonna guess our last one.
All right.
We probably share the last one. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I don't think that we shared the last one, Robbie.
Wow, because this next one is probably the next most famous one after Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, and that's the Chupacabra.
That is not my next one, but it's on my honorable mentions, and that's the one that I thought was going to be switched with Mothman for me.
Well, I'll go over Chupacabra real quick. Everybody knows about it. Literally means goat sucker. Originated from Mexico and Puerto Rico. The first popular sightings came around 1995, which is a lot later than you would think.
Wicked late.
For this kind of stuff. Sightings start from Mexico all the way to Maine and Puerto Rico, things like that. To me, it's like the least scary cryptid. I think it's just weird looking, but it's not that scary because it's always described as a really small creature that with teeth and fangs and like these ridged spine. And
if I saw it, I'd shit my pants, but like just thinking about it, not scared.
Yeah, just beat it to death with a shovel though. Not that scary.
How big are what's the height size of these things?
It's supposed to be like smaller than a goat. According to like all the pictures, it's always smaller than an actual goat.
Oh, so I just kick it with steel-toed boots.
With steel-toed boots, yeah, which lesbians have in droves. So
I literally have some. I use them often.
I believe you. The world believes you. So, Lauren, what is the one that I did not have?
Was that all you had on Chupacabra?
Yeah, I don't think we need to. I don't really care too much about the
Is there more than one chupacabra, or are there like herds?
There's a herds
a
of
gaggle?
chupacabra.
A
A
danger?
Flock.
A flock?
A murder.
No, flock isn't the right.
A murder of
chupacabras. All right, there it is. A murder of chupacabras. Is it a group thing or like a single thing?
I think it's like a species thing. Like it's not a lot of them, but it's a species based thing, according to the tales.
So there are chupacabras. There
Yes.
isn't a chupacabra.
Yeah, and
All right.
exactly.
Cool.
So what's your last one, Lauren? I can't even think about what it is.
I'm not going to tell you what my last one is until we do a shot, Robbie.
Oh,
I think that this will cover all the shots that we need to do.
is it ironic?
Until the next
shots?
episode, because this one's going to go over.
Yeah, it's going to go over.
Shots. You love me.
Apples.
All right, apples. Woo! All right, my last cryptid is, and I'm surprised that you didn't guess it from what I'm drinking, the Kraken.
Fuck you.
Okay, listen. I like the Kraken, and I think that it's probably one of the most iconic because it's really like the only cryptid of the sea. You know what I mean? It covered so heavily in like popular culture, like in like any movie that has to do with like sea monsters is
because it's
the
mythology,
Kraken.
Not cryptology.
It is cryptology. I looked it up because I almost didn't put it on the list because I wasn't sure if it was considered a cryptid, but it is considered a cryptid. And I love octopus, and it's kind of like an octopus because squid are kind of like octopus. Essentially, the Kraken, for anyone who fucking doesn't know, is a giant
octopus.
No, giant squid, not octopus. Giant squid. It's more squid-like than octopus-like. Anyways, it's from Scandinavian mythology-ish folklore. That's the word I want to use.
Scandinavian?
Yeah, it's Scandinavian folklore because it's off the coast of Norway and Greenland, right? It's kind of a Viking thing is how it developed.
So how did it get to like Greece and Rome?
I don't know, Robbie.
Because didn't Oedipus fight a Kraken?
I don't know, Robbie.
Not Oedipus. Odysseus fought a Kraken.
Maybe.
Because the Kraken is like Greek mythology.
No, Kraken is Scandinavian mythology.
Really?
It's a Viking thing, for sure.
That's weird.
That's how it developed. That's how it came to be. Because they relied heavily on fishing as their source of...
I mean, same with like Greece and stuff like that, so that makes sense too.
Yeah. Anyways, it's described to be more than a mile long. It has spikes on its suckers. Early description of it is more crab-like than octopus-like, which I kind of find interesting. It's said to envelop and capsize ships and eat the sailors. They were blamed a lot for sea disasters like whirlpools or like bubbling water, large schools of fish coming to the surface, which we all know now is mostly like underwater volcanoes in that area.
And whale farts.
Yeah, whale farts. In 2012, scientists discovered the giant squid, which lives in that area.
2012? We've known about the giant squid for a long time. It's called the Architeuthis.
Okay, well, listen. There's two different classes. So there's the colossal squid, and that lives in the Antarctic region, so like southern hemisphere.
Okay.
The giant squid live in the northern hemisphere up near Iceland and shit. And the longest one on record, I think, is like 60 feet long. So, but even like colossal squid aren't as long as what the Kraken is.
No. But we've also never captured one alive, I believe. We have dead ones. But I watched so many documentaries on the Architeuthis, the giant squid. They're so cool. They're so mysterious. They basically fight blue whales. Or sperm whales. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah. And I think out of all of the cryptids that are out there, like the reality that this could have ever actually existed is like the highest probability.
I mean, aside from the plesiosaur, Loch Ness, yeah.
Yeah.
But not surviving.
And like there wouldn't really be any sort of fossilization able to be found for the Kraken because it's a squid, right? They don't have bones. No. So there wouldn't be any sort of fossil record for something like this to have ever existed. Aside from like their beak and like their eye lens, like that's the only hard part of their bodies.
There are creatures at the bottom of the ocean in the depths that basically feed off of bone material and hardened stuff like that. So there wouldn't be any remnants anyway.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of documentaries about deep ocean stuff. So.
And we only have explored like 5% of our oceans. So
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
And we're finding new species literally all of the time.
We know more about outer space than we do of our own oceans, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what the saying is, but
I would believe that.
Yeah.
It fucking boggles my mind. I love ocean life. Like, as scared as like I am of like deep water and shit and like the open ocean, I find it so fascinating. So cool. And I just think that like when it comes to any sort of sea cryptid or like sea mythology, like that kind of thing, like the Kraken is top dog.
The Kraken is cool, but in my brain it goes more towards mythology and not cryptology, but that's fine.
Well, I'm just thinking, you know, like if we have a Mount Rushmore and you're going to carve all these cryptids into it, how cool would it be to have like a Kraken?
I feel like we talked about this when we did cryptids, because we looked at the long list of cryptids, and there was things on the cryptids list like unicorns and like Pegasus, but it's like that weird subcategory. Does it fall in mythology or cryptology? You know what I mean? Like it's that weird crossover. I feel like we talked about this.
So I don't remember talking about that. Everyone, literally go check out our cryptid episode. I don't remember what episode number. Insert episode number here.
It's episode 15, and this week it's all about things that go bump in the night.
I feel like things like unicorns, that absolutely falls under like mythology, because I don't think that could have ever like, I mean, granted the Jersey Devil like doesn't exist or like, you know what I mean? But like Bigfoot, like that is something that could have like evolved from something and existed at like some point in time. You know what I mean? So it like kind of.
But a horse with a horn in its head is so out of picture.
Well, I don't know. I don't know enough about unicorns to make that argument, I guess. That's
a good place to end it. Before we go, we're going to rate our alcohols real quick, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
I drank Tito's. I love Tito's. I've talked about Tito's. 4.5 out of 5. If you're not drinking Tito's and you like vodka, what's wrong with you? Stop wasting your money on Grey Goose and what's the other really expensive one, Lauren? 3 Olives and...
3 Olives is not expensive.
I honestly don't remember.
Absolute's a thing. Syrah's a thing. Syrah.
They're all more expensive than Tito's, and I think they're way less quality.
I like New Amsterdam.
I don't remember that one. Buy Tito's. Sponsor us.
Oh, yeah. We could use another sponsor. Tito's, sponsor us. I drank Kraken. I don't know who makes it.
I drink Kraken.
I drink Kraken. Bizarre and fierce?
Sure. I don't remember.
It's a nip, so the writing is very small, and I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't really read it. Anyways, the Kraken, black spiced rum, delicious. I wouldn't recommend drinking it straight. It definitely needs to be a mixer in some sort of drink, but I dumped a shot of butter shots in there, and that took the alcohol-y bite off and added that nice like creaminess that you needed. So I mean, Kraken, great dark rum. I give it a 3.75.
We all need a little creaminess in our lives.
Hell yeah.
We told you who we think should be on the Mount Rushmore of Cryptids. Now we want to hear who you think should be on the Mount Rushmore of Cryptids and why the Kraken should be out of here. Well, that just about wraps it up for this episode. You will find the Brew Interviews on our Instagram account at The Brew Interviews or on Twitter at Brew Interviews. You can also send us an email at thebrewinterviews@gmail.com. We're on Facebook under The Brew Interviews. And if you feel so inclined, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/The Brew Interviews and become part of the Brew Interviews family, just like these people: Hillary, Mitch, Steph, Karen, Danny, Jess, and the Wreck My Podcast crew. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Also, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps us out. And be sure to check out our sponsor, adamandeve.com, and use our promo code BREW4U and get 50% off almost any one item. And when you do, you get 10 free special gifts. Oh, also, please check out our Patreon, because next month we are going to be donating any contributions that we get to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Yes, that one. Thank you, Robbie. And if you want to know any more information on cryptids, first, check out our episode on it. And second, the Unknowable podcast covers a lot on that. Like, they did one on Skinwalker Ranch. They're big Mothman fans. So check out their podcast also. We should do an episode on Skinwalker Ranch. That shit's crazy. Oh, fuck yeah. For the Brew Interviews, I'm Robbie. And I'm Lauren. Good night. Good night.
This has been The Brew Interviews, a podcast about craft beers coast to coast with Lauren and Robbie. This weird beer-drinking boy told me to light my apartment on fire.